Monsignor Chiodo from St. Anthony's in Des Moines, Iowa. The word of the Lord speaks very clearly about so many things, and today I'd like to reflect upon the fact that God is a God of surprises. In the scripture, we read, "A people in darkness have seen a great light. A radiant dawn shines on those lost in faith." The radiant light of God's presence shines in the darkness of our lives in many surprising ways, and sometimes we think of them as coincidences, but it's really God remaining anonymous. That's a good way of thinking about what we call coincidences in terms of faith. God simply choosing to remain anonymous. When you look at your life, I think it's important to reflect upon this fact very frequently, and that is how God breaks through the darkness of our lives and shines a bright light of His presence in surprising ways. Have you ever experienced anything like a coincidence where when you really paused, you could think of it as God winking at you, God breaking through to you? I have. I remember in particular one so-called coincidence that had to be, and it was obvious that, once upon reflection, that it was not just a coincidence. It was God winking at me and remaining anonymous. I was in Betania, Venezuela, some years ago, leading a pilgrimage to the Marian Shrine of Our Lady there. When we arrived on the first day, we were gathered at the apparition site, and there were many hundreds of people there by the fountain where holy water was available. And I was standing there watching my group one by one get some holy water from the fountain, from the spigot there, when I noticed different groups would have different badges indicating where they're from. And the group right next to us was from Pennsylvania. I noticed the emblem on their ID card that they were wearing as a badge. And suddenly I noticed one particular woman was looking at me like, curious about me, and I didn't think much of it till she came up to me. And she said, "Now, are you Father Frank?" I did not have a badge on. "Are you Father Frank?" I said, "Yes." Why is that? "Do I know you?" She said, "Well, 3 years ago I was in Medjugorje, and you heard my confession, and it changed my life, and I wanted you to know about it." Now, some could say that is just merely a coincidence that you met this gal. But when I think about it, I think of it as God winking at me, letting me know by inspiring that lady to be at the same place at the same time, to let me know that that confession I heard really touched her life, and that there's power in the sacrament of reconciliation, and that when I feel like my ministry is, hitting hard times or seems to be futile, that I can remember this one lady who let me know that God touched her, that had broken through the darkness and shone His light through the sacrament of confession. God is a God of surprises. He lets us know in simple ways if we keep our eyes open and our hearts open to the many ways He reveals Himself to us. It's not a coincidence so often. It's just God remaining anonymous. God bless you.